I'm very proud to represent a district in a state that has deployed more National Guard to fight this war on terror. And I personally want to come here to thank you for your service. And Smith, I know you just got back from Iraq. Been over there several times, and I know how harsh the conditions are in there in Afghanistan. I know what sacrifice y'all have made, and I just want to personally thank you for everything you've done. As has been mentioned, we all remember that day. So like everybody remembers Pearl Harbor, Kennedy assassination, but 9/11, I was watching the television, and my 5-year-old daughter, now 15, Caroline said, "Daddy, why did that airplane fly into that building?" And of course, that was the first plane. We didn't know what was really going on. But when we saw the second plane hit the second tower, we knew that this was not some accident. We knew that this was an intentional act against the United States of America. And what happened after that, in the next 10 years, has been very, very inspiring. And of course, a little 5-year-old's question, why would they do that? The only answer is because they hate us. They hate our way of life. Radical Islam does not understand the West, and they do want to kill us. I've devoted a good deal of my career to fighting against terrorism. I was chief of counterterrorism in the Justice Department. I remember Ramzi Youssef in '93, trying to take down the World Trade Center, escaped, went to Islamabad. They captured him in Islamabad. I know the FBI agent. And what was eerie was they found 15 baby dolls stuffed with chemical explosives. And his plan was to take those baby dolls on 15 different airliners and blow them up. So sort of the evil, sinister genius of the terrorists to take a baby doll of all things and pack it with chemical explosives. He met up with his uncle Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and they talked about flying airplanes into buildings in the mid-1990s. And of course their vision was carried out on that tragic day of September the 11th. And the threat is still there. We've made great progress since 9/11. Since 9/11, I remember traveling to Pakistan, Afghanistan. I went to a base on the border of Pakistan. 3 of their soldiers had been killed in Ghazni the day before, and they said, "Congressman, they're coming out of there and pointed at Pakistan. They're coming over here and they're killing us." I remember going back to Washington and met with then President Bush his last few months in office. He said, "I'm aware of this issue." I said, "It's a problem. They're training there." He said, "I understand. We're going to start something called the Predator Drone Project." This project has been greatly successful in dismantling their command and control structure. High-value targets taken out. And so much so that they're really reduced to these 1 to 2 man operations. But I will say the greatest victory we've had was when we killed bin Laden. The act of the Navy SEAL Team 6, of our intelligence community, their names and faces will never be known. What they did that day is to be commended. That was the beginning of the end of this war on terror, because you can't win it with him still alive. And it was just such a great victory for the United States, and I think for the world. But as I said, the threat still remains. We've had 24 terror plots in the last 2 years. As the chairman on Homeland Security Committee, we follow this stuff. That's about 1 plot per month. And the most successful and tragic event happened not too far from here at Fort Hood, with Major Hassan killing 13 soldiers. And I went to the ceremony and saw the 13 pairs of boots and the rifles. And I know all of you in the service have been to these, and it was one of the most tragic things that I've witnessed. So the threat is still out there. And in fact, what we got from the compound from bin Laden was a treasure trove of intelligence. One indicating targeting tankers, like at places like the Port of Houston, and the other one mentioning a spectacular event on the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. As all of you know, there is a threat out there for this weekend. This is one of the most specific and credible threats I have seen in a long time. And I pray, and I left Washington just last night, the targets are DC and New York. Both cities are in a state of high alert. The police are out. The military is out. I believe that we can stop them again. But it is a moment where they're going to test us, one more time. One takeaway I get from 9/11, though, is that at a time when we're so divided as a nation, that day brought us together as a nation. And we weren't Republicans, Democrats, we were all Americans, first and foremost. And I remember after 9/11, the members of Congress going on the Capitol steps to sing God Bless America. Unifying the nation, unifying the Congress, which we've seen lately is not so unified. But that was the takeaway of 9/11. We came together as a country. And I want to end with something that the senator talked about, and that's the greatest generation. My father, governor like yours, he flew over 30 combat missions over Europe fighting the Nazis on a B-17. And I had a moment to actually fly on one of these things in Brenham, Texas, my district. And they said, "What'd your dad fly? What was his position?" I said, "He was a bombardier." And they said, "Wow, well, he had probably the neatest seat on the plane, but the deadliest. He was right in the front of the nose cone with 450 calibers, and then took over the plane when they actually bombed the Nazis." The sacrifices they went through, being born in the Great Depression, fighting one of the most horrific wars we've ever seen against one of the most evil dictators we've ever seen, and to come out on top is so inspiring. And yet we see this greatest generation alive here today, and with the soldiers here today. He said to me, and I'll never forget him telling me this, he's been deceased for some time, but son, you have a responsibility too. My generation handed down a better America to yours. And that is your challenge, that is your responsibility, to hand down a better America to the next generation. So let us remember, let us never forget what happened on 9/11, and let us hand down a better country to the next. Thank you. God bless you. I have a flag that was flown over the United States Capitol that I would like to present to Camp Mabry, to the General, and